Good evening, everybody. The Music Fan is back, bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. And I am back with my first of my final 3 videos of 2018. I am super excited. We're counting down the last 3 videos, and I got something special later in January, but I won't talk about it until my final video this Sunday. The idea of these 3 videos is going to be 2 Are You Ins on some instrumental albums. Sandwiched in between there is the final part of the Digging Through Discography with Mumford and Sons when I look at the newest album, Delta. I am super excited to get on with these. They're going to be on the shorter side because of the holiday season, but nevertheless, I'm going to be having fun talking about these, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, I'm going to start the timer and we're going to get going. So tonight, I'm taking a look at the newest album by deadmau5 entitled Where's the Drop? Now, for those of you who don't know who deadmau5 is, also known as Joel Thomas Zimmerman, he is a Canadian electronic music producer, DJ, musician, and composer from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. The previous albums include Get Scraped in 2005, Vexillology in 2006, Random Album Title in 2008, For Lack of a Better Name in 2009, 4 times 4 equals 12 in 2010, Album Title Goes Here in 2012, Wild Heart in 2014, and W:/2016 album / in 2016. He's got a flair for the names, if you will. Now, honestly, I cannot tell you a full track of deadmau5 I've listened to willingly since his time in the music industry. I'm not a huge fan of dubstep or EDM. I've never really been in that crowd, though I have grown to enjoy some things over the years. I probably have heard a song or 2 of his, but I would not be able to say by name. But when I was looking through the albums for 2018, this particular album stood out to me because this is actually a compilation album of some of his, I guess, better known songs, but it's an orchestrated compilation. So everything, all of his arrangements are now with piano, with horns, with string instruments, and it made me interested in what this album could be. So I took a look on a whim, and here are my thoughts. Now, again, I've never really listened to much of deadmau5, and I still haven't, so I can't say the differences between some of these songs in comparison to their original works. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is very spacious. This is very minimalistic when it comes to the ideas on this album. There's some good layering on here. There's some good interesting contra melodies at times in the piano, but mostly what this album does is it builds very well and very slowly. It's a slow burn of an album. What it lets me do, it lets me understand and hear the conceptual arrangements that these songs began with. There's some beautiful chord progressions, and honestly, to me, a lot of this album just flows on top of from one song to the next. So for me, it's kind of hard to pick and choose particular songs. I think off the top of my head, Imaginary Friends, I really enjoy the ideas of going between the major and minor in there. Luxuria has some great chord progressions. I think some other standout ones for me are Monophobia, F and Pig, and even Strobe. I think a lot of these songs are very interesting and honestly very chill. Some of these don't ever really get to that peak of just a fortissimo or like that crescendo apex idea that you're looking for, but I think the burn gives you the ability to hear the intricate nature of these and enjoy when another idea is thrown in there. I think this is some of the more beautiful symphonic work that I've heard in a long time. I would love to be able to hear the comparison between what this music is and what, you know, his original work is. If I can guess by the title, there would be a lot more drops in some of these songs. And I did on a whim, listen to Imaginary Friends by itself. It looks like that song is a lot longer, and because there is that drop. So it's a give and take. If you like deadmau5's work for the forward motion on some of these things or the more intricate parts, you sometimes don't get them on this particular album. You don't necessarily get that build into the drop where you get this more forward momentum with percussion. But at the same time, you get to hear the bare bones of what these songs are and intensify that with more interesting and more varied instrumentation. I will say another negative, if there will, because these all seem to flow into each other, it takes for a minute for you to get to a song where you get that apex. And even still, there's only maybe one song where I can say it has some sort of pulsating nature. So there isn't any percussion, which is fine. You don't really get percussion in an orchestra. But it would have been nice to maybe hear some timpani or some sort of percussion that gives it a little bit more forward momentum. Another drawback I would say is it's 15 songs and about 67 minutes. So some of these songs are shorter, but a lot of these do tend to get onto the 5-minute marks. Sometimes the momentum isn't enough there to make for an interesting song. So, like I said, this is a very slow burn, and if you're fine with that, and if you're willing to just sit back and just listen to everything build and everything grow and everything work together in such an interesting way, then this is a great time. I enjoy it a lot. It's not something that, I don't know if I would necessarily go to every one of these songs and hear the original one, but I would definitely like to come back into this world and enjoy it again. So that's my time, and with a lot of time to spare. Thank you so much for listening. I know this is a shorter one, but if you enjoyed this album, give this video a like. Most important thing that you can do, of course, are two things. Comment on what you love or what you hate about this album, and what other albums you would like me to review in the future. And honestly, subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy album reviews like this, then you'll definitely enjoy what else I got on this channel, and especially what I have in store. But I won't tell you about that until Sunday. Until then, I'll see you later for the 4th and final installment of the Digging Through Discography with Mum and Sons. This is the Music Fan signing off.